I woke to her shadow in the bunkhouse doorway, eyes locked on me like I'd stolen something she couldn't name. The air hung heavy with the scent of hay and regret. My heart slammed against my ribs. I'd murmured it in my sleep, hadn't I? Broken and beautiful. Words meant for the dark, now out. She was the ranch owner, Elena, and I was just the new hand running from ghosts in the city. If she dug, she'd find them. The past I'd buried under miles of dust. What did you mean by that? She asked, voice low, stepping closer. No escape now. 2 weeks earlier, I'd pulled up to the ranch in a truck that rattled like my nerves. The ad said remote work, no questions asked. Perfect for someone like me, fleeing a life that had cracked open too wide. I'd left behind a partner who turned possessive, a job that demanded too much, and a string of bad decisions that followed like shadows. Here, in the wide open nothing of Wyoming, I figured I could breathe. Or at least pretend to. Elena met me at the gate, tall, with calloused hands and a gaze that cut through the wind. She didn't smile, just nodded, handed me a key to the bunkhouse, and pointed to the stalls. Start with the horses. We rise before dawn. Her voice carried the weight of someone who'd shouldered this place alone too long. I nodded back, keeping my eyes on the ground. No stories, no slips. The first days blurred into sweat and silence. Muck the stalls, feed the herd, mend fences that stretched like endless regrets. The ranch was isolated, miles from the nearest town, just the creak of windmills and the low whinny of horses. Elena ran it with quiet command, her boots hitting the dirt like judgments. I'd catch her at dawn, silhouetted against the rising sun, checking the cattle. Her shoulders carried a tension, like the land pressed down on her. But there was something else, a flicker in her eyes when she thought no one watched. Weariness, depth. I kept my distance, focused on the work, but proximity has a way of wearing you down. We'd ride out together to check the far pastures, her horse steady beside mine. The air between us thickened with unspoken things. Once, as we dismounted by a dry creek bed, her hand brushed my arm, reaching for the reins. Warm, rough. I pulled away too quick, mumbling about the saddle. She didn't comment, but her glance lingered. Nights were worse. The bunkhouse was small, walls thin enough to hear the wind howl or Elena's boots on the porch as she paced. I'd lie there, staring at the rafters, suppressing the pull. She was my boss, broken in ways I recognized, haunted maybe by whatever kept her out here alone, beautiful in the quiet strength of it. But feelings like that, they got people hurt. I'd run once, wouldn't let them root here. The workload piled on. Branding season hit, and we were out from sunup to sundown, the smell of singed hair and dust coating everything. Elena pushed hard, her commands sharp but fair. Tighten that rope, she'd say, her voice cutting through the chaos. I'd comply, ignoring how her presence made my hands unsteady. Subtle observations built like storm clouds. The way she rubbed her neck after a long ride, scars faint on her knuckles from years of this life. The loneliness in her rare silences. One evening after wrestling a stubborn calf, exhaustion hit me like a wall. We sat by the fire pit, flames crackling low. Elena handed me a tin mug of coffee, our fingers almost touching. You settling in? She asked, first real question beyond work. I shrugged. It's quiet here. She nodded, staring into the fire. Quiet's what I need. Her voice softened, just a fraction. Vulnerability peeked through, then vanished. I looked away, heart thudding, suppressed it all. But late that night, bone-tired, dreams pulled words from me, whispers in the dark, a vulnerable moment hanging like smoke, until morning shattered it. The door creaked open just past midnight. I felt it before I heard it, the shift in the air, cooler now, carrying the bite of night wind. My eyes snapped open, but sleep still clung, heavy and disorienting. Elena stood there, silhouetted against the faint lantern light from outside. Her boots were off, socks silent on the wood floor. She'd come for the night check, probably to make sure the horses were settled after the storm warnings. But she froze, halfway in, her gaze fixed on my bunk. I bolted upright, sheets tangling around my legs. My mouth went dry. "What? Everything okay?" The words tumbled out, too quick, too thin. She didn't answer, just stepped closer, her shadow stretching long across the floorboards. The bunkhouse smelled of damp earth and old pine, but now it carried something sharper. Her scent, sweat, and leather from the day. Her eyes narrowed, dark in the low light. "You said it," she whispered. Her voice was rough, like gravel under tires. I blinked, heart thudding. Said what? But the dream lingered, fragments sharp now. Her face in the firelight earlier, that quiet weariness. The words I'd let slip in sleep, unguarded, broken, and beautiful. Meant for no one. Heat flooded my face. I don't know what you're talking about. Lie. Weak one. She crossed her arms, leaning against the post of my bunk. Close enough I could see the tension in her jaw, the way her fingers dug into her elbows. Don't, I heard you clear. Broken and beautiful. That's me, isn't it? In your sleep like some damn confession. Denial rose fast, but it stuck in my throat. I swung my legs over the edge, boots hitting the floor with a thud that echoed my pulse. It was nothing. Dream talk. Forget it. She didn't move. Her eyes bored in, anger flickering there, mixed with something else. Curiosity, maybe, or hurt she wouldn't name. Nothing? You murmur that about your boss in the middle of the night, and it's nothing? Her voice cracked, just a hair, but enough to show the walls she kept up. High ones, built from years out here, alone with the land and whatever ghosts rode with her. I stood, the space between us shrinking. Panic clawed up, not just from the words, but what they might unearth. If she pushed, really pushed, she'd want to know why I saw her that way, why I recognized the broken parts. And that led straight to my past, the one I'd driven across 3 states to bury, the ex who'd twisted love into chains, the job I'd quit after one too many nights staring at a ceiling, wondering if I could vanish. Out here, I was safe, anonymous, until now. Please, it doesn't mean anything. My voice shook. She stepped forward, invading the bunkhouse air. It means you see something. In me. Tell me why. The standoff stretched, her breath steady, mine ragged. She was close, too close, the heat from her body cutting the chill. I could see the fine lines around her eyes, etched from squinting into sun and wind. Guarded, yes, but cracking under the weight of her own isolation. This ranch wasn't just land, it was her armor, her prison, and I'd named it. In sleep. I can't, I said finally, backing toward the wall. But there was nowhere to go. Her hand shot out, not touching, but hovering near my arm. Can't or won't. You're hiding something. We all are out here, but this feels personal. Panic linked tight to fear now, my past a shadow at the door. If she knew I was running, that I'd left a trail of unanswered calls and a life half erased, she'd question everything. My steadiness with the horses, the way I handled the fences like I'd built them before. Elena wasn't one to let cracks show, but I saw hers, the way she checked the horizon too often, like waiting for a storm that never broke. Just drop it, I pleaded. She shook her head, anger winning over curiosity. No, you work for me. Live under my roof. If you're carrying something that'll blow up here, I need to know. Her demand hung there, proximity turning the air thick. I could feel the warmth of her, the faint scent of sage from her shirt. No escape in the small bunkhouse, walls closing in like the ranch itself. She waited, unyielding, her conflicted gaze pulling at me, anger at the intrusion, curiosity about the truth. Finally, I nodded, defeated. Fine, tomorrow, after chores. But her eyes said it wouldn't wait. Daily life would twist now, charged with this unspoken pull. Every glance, every shared task, unavoidable. The routine we'd built shattered, words from sleep forcing us closer than the land ever had. She turned then, slow, like it cost her. Dawn, be ready. The door clicked shut behind her, leaving silence that pressed heavier than before. I sank back onto the bunk, heart still racing. What had I started? The past I'd fled felt closer now, stirred by her stare. And Elena, broken and beautiful. She'd demand answers I wasn't sure I could give. But in this isolation, running wasn't an option anymore. Dawn came too soon. The sky bled pink over the ridge, and I was already in the saddle, rope coiled tight on my pommel. Elena waited by the corral, her horse stamping dust. She didn't look at me, just mounted up and nodded toward the north fence line. Storm last night loosened posts. We fix it today. Her voice was flat, all business. But the air between us crackled, charged from the bunkhouse words. I followed her lead, the horse's hooves thudding in rhythm with my pulse. The ride out took an hour, wind whipping sage across the plain. Silence stretched, broken only by creaking leather. I stole glances, her back straight, jaw set. Conflicted. Yeah. Anger simmered under that calm, but curiosity tugged too. Why I'd said it. What I saw in her, my own secrets, pressed close. The past I'd run from feeling like a burr under the saddle. An ex's voice echoed in my head, demanding, controlling. I'd left to escape that weight. Now Elena's presence added another layer. We reached the fence by mid-morning. Posts sagged where wind had clawed, wire tangled like veins. Elena dismounted first, grabbing tools from her pack. Start at the east end. Hammer 'em straight. She tossed me a mallet, our hands brushing. Skin to skin, rough and warm. I jerked back, heat rising. She paused, eyes meeting mine for a beat too long, then turned away, cold again. Fleeting warmth, gone quick. Work pulled us near. I drove stakes while she restrung wire, bodies inches apart in the narrow gap. Sweat beaded on her neck, trickling down. I focused on the wood, but her arm grazed mine as she reached for a clip. Accidental. Electric. Watch it, she muttered, voice low. Not angry. Testing. I nodded, hammering harder. Internal storm built. Wanting distance. Needing it. But the ranch wouldn't allow. Isolation forced this closeness. Chores binding us like the fence we mended. Lunch came under a lone cottonwood. Shadows, pooling cool. She unpacked jerky and hardtack, handing me a piece without a word. We sat back to back, trunks rough against my shoulders. Where you from? She asked, sudden, breaking the quiet. Probing started here. I chewed slow. East. City. Vague. Safe. She shifted, boot nudging mine. What brought you out? I evaded. Needed space. Work like this. She pressed. Family? Trouble. Her tone mixed command and something softer, like she recognized running when she saw it. I glanced over my shoulder. Her eyes held mine, lingering. Tension hummed. Nothing worth digging up. Lie hung heavy. My past loomed. Phone calls I'd ignored. A life shattered by one bad choice after another. If she knew, trust would break. She huffed, turning back. Everyone's got dirt. This place buries it deep. Warmth flickered, then cold returned. She stood, dusting hands. Back to it. Afternoon dragged, heat rising off the dirt. Horse care next. After fencing, we led them to the stream for water. Elena's mare shied at a snake trail, and she calmed it with a low murmur, hand steady on the neck. Vulnerability showed there, in the gentle stroke. Ranch struggles wore on her. The drought last year, lost calves, endless repairs. I glimpsed it in her sigh as the horse drank. This land takes more than it gives, she said almost to herself. Beautiful, that quiet fight. Broken too, carrying scars I itched to trace. Our hands met again at the bridle, unbuckling side by side. Lingering look this time, her gaze dropped to my mouth, then away. Heart thudded. Stakes climbed in my head. If this pull grew, my past would surface. A suspicious call last week from an old number, unanswered. But it teased. External pressure building. What if they found me here? Elena deserved better than my mess. Evening chores kept us tethered. Barn work, hay bales heavy between us. She lifted one end, I the other. Bodies straining close. Accidental touch on the thigh as we stacked. She froze, breath catching. Sorry, I mumbled. She didn't pull away fast. Don't be. Voice soft, conflicted. Then sharpness returned. Focus. Night's coming. Alternating like wind shifts. Cold commands. fleeting warmth and a shared glance. Dinner was quiet. Fire low in the pit. She poked embers. Face lit orange. That sleep talk, it bothers me. Probing again. Direct, now. I stared at flames. Meant nothing. Evasion. She leaned in, elbow brushing mine. Liar, you see broken in me. Why? Internal monologue raced. Tell her. Risk everything. The X, the flight, the fear, or hold back. Let tension fester. Just words, I said. She scoffed, warmth fading to resentment. Fine, keep your walls. Night fell heavy, stars sharp overhead. We parted at the bunkhouse, her hand on the doorframe near mine. Lingering. Tension peaked in that space, unspoken desires pulling, but she turned cold. Sleep sound, no more murmurs. Door shut. I lay awake, stakes high. Proximity forced this dance, near but not touching truth. My past teased closer, a distant engine hum on the road. External threat loomed, subplot stirring. What if it crashed in? Next day mirrored the last. Fencing extended, wire singing as we pulled it taut. Elena's questions dug deeper. Ever run a spread before? Evade. Bits here and there. Truth half buried, her laugh short, bitter. You're good with the stock, too good for green. Accidental touch, fingers over hers on the pliers. She held a second, eyes locking. Warmth bloomed, then snuffed. Careful. Cold edge. Ranch struggles showed more. A fence post splintered under hammer, her thumb bleeding. She wrapped it quick, but I saw the wince. Vulnerability, raw. Happens, she said, waving me off, but her hand shook slight. Beautiful in resilience, broken in isolation. Internal pull, tore. Want to heal that, but my scars matched too close. By week's end, chores blurred into rhythm. Horse grooming side by side. Brushes, stroking in sync. Lingering looks over manes. Once, her hip bumped mine at the stall gate. Stayed pressed a breath. Tension coiled tight. This can't, she started, conflicted. Pulled back, cold. Work only. That night, phone buzzed in my pocket. Unknown number. Passed. Knocking. I silenced it, but Elena noticed from across the fire. Who? Probing sharp. No one. Evasion. Cracking. She stared. Warmth gone. Hiding'll break us both. Stakes thrummed. Emotional. High. Subplot loomed. Pressure mounting. Proximity wore thin walls. A storm brewed distant. Thunder rumbling like my fears. Chores, forced reliance. Touches accidental no more. Her hand on my back, guiding a bale. Lingering. Internal stakes screamed. Confess or lose her to secrets. She alternated still. Cold snaps, hiding warmth. Until the crisis hit. Lightning cracked close that evening. Wind howling sudden. A calf lowed frantic from the far pasture. Fence down, beast loose in the gully. Elena's face paled. We go, now, no choice. Storm pulled us deeper. Reliance forged in rain and dark. Rain hit like a slap, sheets of it blurring the horizon. We spurred the horses into the gathering dark, thunder rolling closer. Elena led, her silhouette cutting through the downpour. The calf's low carried on the wind, panicked and faint. Fence down meant flood risk in the gully. Hours of work ahead, no time for the charged silence we'd built. I gripped the reins tighter, water soaking my shirt, clinging cold. Proximity forced now, survival, pulling us side by side. We found the break by flashlight beams, slicing rain, wire twisted, posts uprooted like teeth from the mud. The calf thrashed in shallow water, leg caught. Elena dismounted first, boots sinking deep. Rope it, I'll hold the light. Her voice cut sharp over the roar. I looped the lasso quick, arm straining as I swung. It caught on the first throw, but the pull jerked me forward. She grabbed my belt from behind, steadying. Her body pressed close, wet heat against my back. Unspoken desire flared, fear too, my pulse mixing storm with want. We hauled together, muscles burning, until the calf broke free. Night deepened, no quitting. We dragged posts from the truck bed, pounding them back in the muck. Hammers thudded wet, sparks of effort in the chaos. Physical demands ground us down, backs aching, hands raw from wire. Elena's breath came heavy beside me, rain tracing her jaw. Once, as we lifted a beam, our shoulders locked, slick skin sliding. She held the gaze a second too long, eyes dark with storm and something raw. Fears amplified, mine of the past surfacing here, hers of this place slipping away. Attraction simmered under exhaustion, no words, just shared strain. By midnight, the fence stood shaky but whole. We led the calf back, her arm brushing mine on the narrow trail. "Good throw," she said, first warmth since the bunkhouse. "Fleeting." I nodded, resolve cracking. Pressure built, not just the storm, but her nearness, chipping at walls. "Would have lost it without you." Her tone mirrored mine, guarded. Minimal history slipped then, as we trudged. "Lost more than calves before. Drought 3 years back. Took half the herd." Secrecy echoed, her losses buried like mine, unspoken parallels. We reached the barn soaked, steam rising as we stripped saddles. Horses nickered. Safe now. Elena tossed me a towel, our fingers tangling brief. Heat sparked, desires unspoken but thick. I dried my face, hinting at the edge. "Places like this make you think about running sometimes." Resolve fractured under the night's weight, past whispering. She paused, wiping her neck. "Running from what?" Accusation laced light, probing again. I evaded, hanging the bridle. "Just talk. Tired." But she stepped closer, conflicted, rain dripping from her hair. "No, you've been hinting since that night. Hiding truths. Like me." Argument simmered low, attraction pulling even as words pushed. Her hand grazed my arm, accidental in the dim. "Tell me, or it'll eat us." I pulled back, fears colliding. "Can't. Not yet." No resolution, tension coiling tighter. She turned away, shoulders tense. "Fine. Keep it buried." Dawn crept slow, but work waited. We mucked stalls in silence, proximity unavoidable. A suspicious call buzzed my pocket mid-morning, unknown number, same as before. Past threat indirect, but rising. I silenced it quick, but Elena caught the vibration. "That again?" Her voice sharpened, accusations building. "Who's calling? Someone from your nothing?" I shoveled harder, resolve thinning. "Old noise. Ignore it." But stakes climbed. If they traced me here, the ranch, her, all tangled. Afternoon brought more crisis. Creek swelled from the storm, threatening the lower pasture. We rode out again, water lapping high. Elena shared another sliver, mirroring my secrecy. "Father left this place to me. Alone. Said I was tough enough." Minimal, but it cracked her shell. Broken edges showing in the quiet admission. Desires amplified as we forded the rise, horses splashing close. Her knee bumped mine, lingering in the current. Fear twisted with want, my past a shadow in the spray. Back at the corral, argument erupted proper. She cornered me by the gate, conflicted eyes flashing. "That call. It's not nothing. You're running, aren't you? From what blew up your life?" Accusations hit hard, attraction simmering beneath anger. I leaned on the rail, resolve cracking full. "Maybe. Doesn't matter. I handle it." "Lie thin." She stepped in, breath close. "It matters here. If it follows you, it hits us." Her hand on the wood near mine, warm despite the chill. No touch, but pull electric. Hiding breaks trust. I met her gaze, hints spilling. "Trust? From the woman who won't say why she's alone out here?" Simmer turned argument. No end. Desires unspoken. Fears raw. Evening chores dragged. Teamwork overnight, bleeding into day. We branded strays pulled from the flood. Iron hissing hot. Physical strain peaked. Arms locking as we held a cow steady. Her body against mine. Sweat mixing. Unspoken wants burned brighter. Fears, too. My phone buzzed again. Insistent. Past surfacing, indirect. Stakes soaring. I stepped away, answering low. Voice on the line. Familiar. Demanding. "Found you?" "Yet." Hung up fast, but Elena heard the tone. "See, hiding truce. Who was that?" Accusation sharp, her face close in the barn light. Ex. Old mess. Resolve gone, hinting at flight. She froze, conflicted. Mess like what? You gonna bolt when it catches up? Argument heated, attraction pulling us nearer. Maybe I should, I shot back, voice breaking, before I drag you in. No resolution, just charged air. She grabbed my wrist, light but firm. Don't. Not yet. Warmth flickered, then pulled back. But tell me, all of it. I shook free, fears winning. Can't, not like this. Night fell again, isolation peaking. Storm cleared, but tension thrummed. We sat by the fire, embers low. She poked them, sharing minimal more. Lost my partner years back, accident on the road. Left me this. Secrecy mirrored, vulnerabilities brushing. Desires simmered, her knee against mine. Accidental no more, but argument lingered. Your ex, sounds like mine. Controlling, why run alone? Accusation, soft now, probing deep. Phone buzz third time, screen lighting my face. Suspicious call escalated. Voicemail waiting. Threat veiled. Won't let you hide forever. Past loomed closer. Stakes raw. Elena saw the shake in my hand. That's it. No more evasion. Conflicted exchange peaked, her hand covering mine. Attraction boiled amid anger. No release. Help me face it or I go. Hint at running away. Resolve, dust. She held on, eyes searching. Stay, but truth's first. Isolation forced it. Ranch walls closing, storms echo in our breaths. Proximity deepened crisis, pulling raw confrontation near. No escape now. Desires and fears colliding head on. Distance felt impossible after the storm. The ranch wrapped around us like wire, tight and unyielding. I tried pulling back, sticking to the far stalls, riding solo to check the creek. But chores dragged me close, every time. Elena's shadow fell across the barn door while I forked hay, her boots scraping dirt. Isolation made evasion futile. The land didn't allow it. We'd cross paths at the pump, hands brushing under the cold stream. I'd step aside, but she'd linger, eyes heavy with questions. No escape, in the wide nothing. That first clear morning, she cornered me by the corral. Horses milled behind the rails, dust kicking up soft. We need to talk about it. Her voice cut low, direct. The sleep words hung between us, unspoken until now, broken and beautiful. She demanded honesty, arms crossed tight over her chest. You saw that in me. Say why. No more dancing. I shoveled grain harder, deflecting. Just a dream. Tired talk. Lie sat heavy, like mud on boots. My past pressed close. Ex's calls echoing in my head, a life I'd fled after one final fight. Bruises hidden under long sleeves. Telling meant risking her digging, finding the mess I'd left. Frustration built in her quick. Jaw clenched, she grabbed the shovel handle, stopping my swing. Bull, you've been watching me since you got here. Judging. Hiding your own shit while you label mine. Resentment simmered, hot under her calm. She released it, stepping back, but the air thickened. I met her gaze, deflection cracking slight. It's not judgment, just saw myself in you, that's all. Partial truth, but not enough. She scoffed, turning to the horses. Yourself, right, keep it vague. Cold snap, resentment lingering like smoke. Days blurred into try-fail. I'd avoid the fire pit evenings, claiming extra rounds. But ranch needs pulled me back. Fence checks at dusk, her waiting with tools. Attempts at space failed. Isolation, forced overlap. One afternoon, mending a gate, our shoulders bumped as we lifted the hinge. I pulled away sharp. Sorry! She didn't move. Stop running inside, too. Confrontation edged in, demanding more. Those words weren't nothing. They hit because they're true, but why me? Honesty clawed at me. Want to spill. Fear the fallout. Deflected again. Doesn't matter, work's what counts. Her eyes narrowed, frustration peaking. Work? That's your wall. Builds resentment when you won't climb over. Evening brought the shared meal, unavoidable after a long haul. We'd culled strays all day, bodies sore from roping. Fire crackled low in the pit, stars pricking the black. Elena portioned stew from the pot, handing me a bowl. Steam rose thick, carrying onion and meat. We sat close on logs, knees almost touching. Silence stretched, then broke soft. This place breaks you slow, she said, spoon-scraping tin. Intimacy crept in, unbidden. I nodded. Warmth, flickering. Seen it. In you. The way you carry it alone. Mutual brokenness surfaced. Her losses mirroring mine. Partner gone, ranch nearly sold after. Fought to keep it. Admission raw, eyes on flames. I shared a sliver. Ran from worse. Controlling hands. Left before it swallowed me. Vulnerability brushed, bowls empty between us. But boundary setting failed quick. Her hand covered mine on the log. Calluses rough. See? We're both cracked. Pull strong, charged. I drew back, heart thudding. Can't cross that. Boss. Employee. Words weak, deflection returning. She pulled away too, frustration flaring. Right. Boundaries. Charged silence fell, heavy as night air. Resentment built again, her gaze turning cold. Meal's intimacy soured, leaving tension taut. Half-story Mark hit hard next dawn. We'd ridden to the ridge, checking water troughs. Wind whipped low, carrying sage. Elena stopped her horse, facing me direct. Conflict peaked in her, anger winning, curiosity buried. Enough. Those words, they mock me. Broken and beautiful, like some pity. Voice harsh, pulling away full. She spurred ahead, leaving dust. Resentment boiled over, no warmth left. I followed slow. Deflection, my shield cracking under it. Attempts at distance reversed. She created it now. Commands sharp all day. Handle the east fence alone. Isolation bit deeper. Failure, stinging. But turning point shifted subtle by dusk. Barn chores, forced, near again. Hay bales between us. She paused mid-lift, eyes softening fraction. Didn't mean to snap, just hits close. Tentative trust building started, walls thinning. I nodded, honesty edging out. Meant no pity. Strength in the broken. Her hand brushed mine on the twine, lingering brief. Silence charged less with anger, more with possibility. Resentment eased, proximity, pulling us toward raw edges. Past loomed still. Another call silenced in my pocket. But her glance said maybe, just maybe, we'd face it side by side. The truck kicked up dust on the long drive, engine growling closer than any storm. I'd seen it from the ridge, a speck turning real, pulling straight to the ranch house. My stomach knotted tight. License plate from the city, the one I'd fled. Elena and I were mending the last fence post when it appeared, hammer frozen in my hand. She straightened, wiping sweat from her brow. Company? Her voice carried that edge, probing again. I set the tool down, slow, legs heavy. Not mine. Lie stuck, but the past intruded hard now, visitor dragging it all to the surface. He stepped out. Mark, X, with eyes like chipped flint, tall, still in that button-down that never fit the land. He scanned the yard, spotting me by the corral. There you are. Voice carried, accusatory. Elena's head snapped up, gaze shifting between us. I walked forward, boots thudding dirt. What do you want? Low, controlled. He smirked, arms crossing. You vanished. Debts, the apartment, your mess, came to settle. Exposure hit like wind shear, flight from old life laid bare in his words. Controlling hands, fights that left marks, job quit in a haze of fear. I'd run to bury it. Now it stood here, breathing. Elena moved beside me, stance rigid. Who the hell are you? Her tone mixed command and confusion. Mark laughed short. Her past owed me big after she bolted. Thought she'd hide forever? Betrayal flashed in her eyes, sharp, cutting. She turned to me, face hardening. This your secret? Running from debts? A man. Questions piled, loyalty cracked. The sleep words twisted now, broken and beautiful, sounding like mockery against this. I reached for her arm, but she pulled back. Don't, you work here, live here, and this shows up? Questioning everything now. Heat rose in the yard, sun beating down. Mark paced closer, waving a crumpled paper. Some bill, old fight. Tell her how you left without a word. Broke us. His voice dripped possession, echoing the chains I'd escaped. Elena's jaw clenched, betrayal deepening. Us? You said nothing about this. No family trouble, no mess following, just vague city talk. Her words stung. Loyalty questioned raw. I stepped between them, heart slamming. It's over. Go. But she grabbed my wrist, turning me to face her. Not till I hear it from you. Loyalty? Those words in your sleep, were they pity for someone like me, hiding my own breaks? Argument ignited, heated and close. We backed toward the barn, Mark's truck idling like a threat. It was in pity, I shot back, voice rising. Saw the weight you carry. Alone, fighting this place, like me, after him. Gestured at Mark, past, spilling. Elena's eyes narrowed, pain flickering. After him? What? Beat you down till you ran? And you bring that shadow here? Betrayal mixed with her own hurt, walls cracking. She shoved the barn door open, pulling me inside. Horses stamped soft in stalls, air thick with hay and tension. Questioning your words now, broken? That's me, yeah. Beautiful? If it's lies to cover your flight, it's cruel. Hidden pains surfaced in the dim light. She leaned on a post, knuckles white. You think you're the only one running? Partner died on this road. Drunk driver. Left me the ranch, debts piling, fought buyers, banks, alone. Broke me quiet. Admission raw, voice breaking. I stepped closer, vulnerabilities clashing. That's why I saw it. The strength in the cracks. My ex controlled everything. Fights turned bad, left bruises. Quit the job, drove west. Thought here was safe. Truth poured, emotional breaking point hitting. Her breath caught, hand trembling near mine. Safe? With secrets like that? Loyalty shattered if you bolt again. Physical pull surged, bodies inches in the stall shadow. Her hand found my shoulder, grip firm but shaking. Admit it, those feelings, real or just seeing your mirror? I covered her hand, heat building. Real, from the first ride out. Your quiet fight pulled me. Broken, yes, but beautiful in holding on. Admission hung, eyes locking. She searched my face, pain twisting to want. Damn you. Makes me want to trust, even now. Vulnerabilities collided. Her loss, my flight, raw intimacy sparking. I leaned in, forehead to hers. Then face him with me. Mark's voice cut from outside, banging the truck door. We're not done. Threat loomed, past, demanding. Elena pulled back slight, conflicted, still. Choice now, him or us building something here. Resolution edged in, face threats together or fracture. I nodded, steady. Together. Tell him to leave. She exhaled, hand sliding to my neck, thumb tracing jaw. Intimacy deepened, lips brushing, tentative. Soft, urgent. Broke for air, her whisper close. Stay, fight with me. Bond solidified in that touch, doubts lingering like dust. We stepped out, united. Elena faced Mark, voice steel. She's with me. Debts, handle your own. Leave or I call the sheriff. He blinked, surprise cracking his stance. You don't know her. But she stood firm, arm brushing mine. I know enough. Go. He climbed in, engine roaring as he spun gravel, vanishing down the drive. Past intruded, exposed, but we faced it. Together. Aftermath settled heavy, sun dipping low. We walked the corral silent, bond tighter, but doubts whispering. What if more comes? I asked, voice low. She stopped, turning me to her. Then we handle. No more hiding. Hand cupped my cheek. Pull, undeniable. Kiss came deeper now, raw and real. Vulnerabilities meshed, intimacy, sealing choice. Ranch stretched around us, threats faced, but lingering questions hung. Trust full or fragile still? Dusk painted the sky red, horses settling. Elena's fingers laced mine, walking back to the house. Broken and beautiful. You meant it. Statement, not question. I squeezed her hand. Every word. Resolution began. Alliance forged in confrontation, but doubts shadowed. Past might circle, her pains resurface. For now, bond held. Intimacy, a quiet strength amid the wide land. Mark's truck vanished in a cloud of dust, but the echo lingered, tires on gravel like a threat fading slow. Elena didn't let go of my hand. Her grip tightened as we walked back to the corral, the sun dipping low, casting long shadows across the posts we'd mended days before. He won't come back alone, I said, voice low, the words pulling from that deep place where fear still coiled. She stopped, turning to face me, her thumb tracing the back of my knuckles. Rough skin against mine, warm despite the cooling air. Then we handle it, together. No hesitation now. Her conflict had cracked wide in the barn, betrayal turning to something steadier. Acceptance settled in her eyes, openness edging in where walls once stood. We moved inside the ranch house that night, the door clicking shut like a decision made. Kitchen light spilled yellow, casting her face in soft lines. She poured coffee, black and strong, handing me a mug. Our fingers brushed, deliberate this time. No pull away. "Tell me the rest," she said, sitting across the scarred oak table. Joint handling started there, past threat not gone, but shared. I sipped, steam rising between us. After the fights got bad, I packed one bag, drove west, no plan. Debts piled, but it was the control that broke me. Him deciding everything, who I saw, what I wore. Words tumbled, scars laid bare. She nodded, her own opening up. Like the ranch after the accident. Alone, deciding every fence, every sale. Thought it'd swallow me whole. Alliance strengthened in the quiet exchange. Vulnerabilities meshing like ropes, twisted true. Morning brought work, but transformed. We rode out to the far pasture, horses side by side. No silence, heavy now. Elena pointed to a dry creek bed, voice steady. "Flood risk there. We reinforce before next rain." Shared resilience showed. Her commands softer, my responses quicker. As we dug posts, sweat beading on her neck, she paused, wiping her brow. "You called it right. Broken, yeah, but holding." Intimate moment hit then, her hand on my shoulder, pulling me close amid the dirt. Lips met slow, affirming the truth. Broken and beautiful. Not pity, but seeing clear. Her breath caught, body pressing warm against mine. "Stay," she whispered, openness full now. Conflict resolved, acceptance wrapping us like the wire we strung. Ranch life shifted after. Chores still ground us. Mucking stalls at dawn, the scrape of pitchforks in rhythm. But proximity felt different, charged with ease. We'd share glances over the horses, her smile fleeting but real. One evening, branding done early, we sat by the fire pit. Flames crackled low, stars sharp overhead. She leaned into me, head on my shoulder. "Healing starts here," she said, hand tracing my arm. Emotional closure crept in, my scars from the ex fading under her touch, hers from the loss easing and shared quiet. "No more running," I murmured, fingers lacing hers. Individual pains mended slow, resilience building like the fences we'd fixed. Days turned to weeks, past threat circling once more. A letter came, postmarked from the city, demand for payment, veiled warning. Elena read it with me at the table, her jaw setting firm. "We pay what we can, then lawyer up." Joint handling peaked, alliance iron now. She called a contact in town, voice steady on the line. "Handle the details. She's with me." Threat met head on, no evasion. Openness flowed, nights tangled in her bed, bodies close, whispers, healing old breaks. "Beautiful in you too," she said once, lips on my collarbone. Truth affirmed, intimacy raw and real. Ranch transformed through it. Herd grew stronger, sails steady under our watch. We'd ride the ridges together, wind whipping sage, her laughter rare but bright. Forward-looking hope settled in the wide land. Futures tangled, no more alone. One dawn, as we watched the sun crest, she turned to me. "This place, us, it's enough." Emotional scars closed, resilience shared, healing wrapped us, rural setting a quiet promise. But doubts lingered faint. What if more came? For now, bond held, intimacy, our strength. We lay under the vast Wyoming sky that night, blankets spread on the hill behind the house. Stars wheeled overhead, sharp and endless, the kind that make you feel small but held. Elena's head rested on my shoulder, her breath steady against my neck, fingers tracing lazy patterns on my arm. The ranch stretched dark around us, fences mended, horses quiet in the corral. No words needed, Just this quiet connection, broken edges fitting together after all the storms. Her hand found mine, squeezing soft. "Worth the fight," she murmured, voice low like the wind through sage. I turned, lips brushing her temple. Healing settled deep, scars fading into shared strength. The past shadow lingered faint, but here, under these stars, hope burned brighter. Rural nights like this promised more. Days of riding, side by side, building what we'd almost lost. If you felt that pull, that quiet truth in someone who sees your breaks and stays, share your story below. Don't forget to subscribe for more tales of finding home in unexpected places.